And joining us now is a topic about really empowerment and data and education. Welcome back. Empowering community through data and collaboration is the goal of a new initiative being spearheaded by the Nonprofit Center of Northeast Florida and its partners. Catalyst starts with data, but it no way near ends there. And here to discuss with us what's behind the new collaborative is Dawn Lockhart, Chief Executive Officer for the Nonprofit Center of Northeast Florida.
Thank you, Al. I'm thrilled to be here. This could be a great conversation.
Well, I'm looking forward to it as well, and feel free to move just a little bit closer. There you go. Perfect. Um, First of all, let's kind of do a right set for folks who may not be familiar with the Nonprofit Center. What is the Nonprofit Center? What's its role in the community?
Sure. Well, I'm thrilled to be able to be in this position following great legacy leadership that's been around for nearly 20 years.
Yeah.
The importance of the Nonprofit Center is to really lift up the sector, to advocate, connect, and inspire the work that we're doing so that we can make sure to strengthen the community. And so, if you think about a chamber of commerce, the Nonprofit Center is really a chamber of commerce for nonprofit organizations trying to create community impact.
And just from a scale standpoint, Jacksonville's a big city.
Mhm.
Our Northeast Florida is a huge, fast-growing region. But when people think about nonprofits, it tends to be in isolation to what they're involved in, what they're
Sure.
engaged in, other than what they see. So, are we a big nonprofit community?
Well, that's an interesting question. We have the nonprofit center has nearly 400 members.
Mhm.
There are about 16,000 nonprofit organizations filed with a tax certificate in the Duval County area, but not all of them are functioning as nonprofit organizations. So one of the wonderful things about the sector and in Jacksonville, because we are such an incredibly collaborative community,
Mhm.
we have very high performing nonprofit organizations. We actually have communities and states that come from all over the country to observe what we are doing right in Jacksonville. So I'm really proud of our community and proud of the sector.
All right, let's move to a topic I know near and dear to your heart, and your great experience in this community, and that is you've always been an advocate for putting data in front of informed decisions. And it sounds easy to say that. It sounds poetic and logical, and yet so often that doesn't happen. And so, what inspired the creation of Catalyst Northeast Florida, and what are its core goals?
So I'm sure your audience will remember many years ago, in fact, all of us participated. There was an organization called JCCI. In fact, it was in this building. And we really engaged as a community around data and trying to really understand what can we do together to unite our efforts in order to increase impact for our community. Sadly, that organization closed 10 years ago, but the demand and the need to have access to data didn't stop. In fact,
Mhm.
it's elevated since then. And very fortunate that the Nonprofit Center was positioned to be able to launch this dashboard opportunity where we really are democratizing the data. It's a very difficult time right now for the social sector to create impact. There are more demands than ever before, and just not enough capacity for the organizations to be able to provide all of that back office support. So we decided to do something about it and to really remove the barrier of trying to find the data so that organizations can better understand how to sell their story and to create the impact.
So I speak in analogies often, so forgive me here. So is this accurate? You have this big bucket, and whereas everybody else had to go get the bucket and find water, you're collecting the main core bucket and then just asking other folks to say, "Hey, listen, just focus on adding to the bucket to make sure that it's really quality."
Absolutely, and I love that. I love the analogy, and that's exactly right. I think that it's we are better together as a community when we bring nonprofits together with the private sector and philanthropy to align around goals that we all can work on together. And how do we build small wins and then continue to build those small wins so we create big impact? And the data is really the beginning step of being able to tell the story on what needs to be done.
Well, I also have to imagine, and I know this having experienced it, being in the nonprofit sector, there's so much duplication, perhaps because of um, a lack of collaboration. Maybe not from will, but at the end of the day, it could be very likely that two organizations doing similar work are going after the similar data versus sharing it. Does that happen a lot?
So Duplication is a hard word for the
Okay.
sector because there are so many great organizations who are doing great work,
Yes.
but they're not serving the same customer.
Okay.
And so oftentimes the term duplication may seem as if just those 10 other organizations weren't doing that, then this other organization could deliver all of the impact, and that's not the case. What
Mhm.
we really need to be doing is aligning and defining who we're focused on and how we can collaborate, and this community and this, sector has done a great job of collaborating. In fact, Jacksonville is the first city in the Southeastern United States to have a strategic partnerships office, and we continue to have that in the mayor's office. And the reason is because we have really identified the secret sauce, and that is partnerships and collaboration results in increased impact. What we did when we developed Catalyst was how do we put that on steroids? How do we provide resources to those organizations so that they can focus on their impact and the delivery of service? We are not the experts in
Mhm.
program service delivery, but we can be the experts in back office support.
So in the last few minutes here, we've got about 3 minutes or so. What are those buckets that people can
Sure.
can kinda grasp and visualize?
So we have 6 categories that we're focused on, and there could be more, but
Right.
these were the 6 that we started with: older adults and people with disabilities, community and civic vibrancy, health and wellness, youth and education, housing and neighborhoods, and prosperity and opportunity. And what's really interesting, and certainly not a surprise, over the last week and a half, we have had hundreds of people participate
Yeah.
in these sessions, is the intersectionality of those topics and how each of those issue areas can connect to the others. And so that's what we're trying to do, is to create these links so that we can make sure to make it easier for our sector to deliver the impact that they need to deliver.
What are you seeing in these early, charrettes or meetings that you're having that is most standing out to you? Because this is really your first step by this convening of the different groups.
Honestly, affirmation on the importance of this. I
Yeah.
think, the social sector does a beautiful job of making it look easy, but I will tell you that the social sector is incredibly strained right now. We have a really difficult talent challenge. We are unable to recruit and retain high performing staff because we can't provide the competitive wages. There's a constant increase in demand without the resources to be able to do so. So I think how we can pull this together and make sure to lift it up for the sector so that they can do a job that they need to do and are dedicated to it is really our goal.
Um, Last thing, what is the one thing the public most needs to know and take away at this stage in the game, from this initiative and the work you're doing?
Sure. I think it's about really getting factual information about the current state of our community. And you can go on to catalystnortheastflorida.org and you can see real time data. We will continue to add that data on a regular basis to show the community what the current state of our community is. We're still working to develop those goals, and
Mhm.
the community can partner with us to identify what those goals should and could be.
And tell us that website again because it's a wonderful resource.
Yeah, Catalyst, Nefl.org.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
I wish we had 10 times the amount of time to discuss, but
thank
Dawn
you.